I contemplated whether to even do a tutorial on JSX since it resembled HTML so much, but there are a few differences that we should cover. JSX just stands for JavaScript XML. You don't have to use JSX, but it's a heck of a lot easier to use it. So let's create a new functional component. We'll call it, let's see, what are we going to do this time? Why men shouldn't wear skinny jeans. Alright, why men shouldn't wear skinny jeans.js. And we'll go ahead and import React from React. We'll create our why men shouldn't wear skinny jeans functional component. And we'll return a React element that says because they look terrible. We'll go ahead and export this, export default, why men shouldn't wear skinny jeans. Because this is so massive of a name, I'm about to copy it. And in order to render it to the screen, we're going to have to import it inside our app.js file. So let's go ahead and clear all this out from last time. Let's go ahead and import this from components. I mentioned wear skinny jeans. All right. And now we just need to render this component. I mentioned wear skinny jeans. Let's see if it works because they look terrible. It works. So that's simple enough, but how would we convert this to not use JSX? I mean, is it even possible? This is your JSX right there. Well, guess what? It is possible. So instead of doing this, we'll go ahead and comment that out. We're going to go ahead and use create element. So this JSX just basically gets converted to JavaScript at the end, and this is what it gets converted to. So we'll go ahead and create the element, and the first thing it asks for is basically the tag that we're creating. We're going to go ahead and the next one are your attributes that are going to be set to this tag. We don't have any attributes, so we're just going to write that as null. And the third is basically what's going to be going inside this tag. So we're going to be putting in because they look terrible, which is what we had right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save it. Go back to our screen, and sure enough, it still works. Let's just make sure that it's not cached. Let's delete that word, and it changes, so that means it actually does work. So already we can kind of see that this looks a heck of a lot messier than this right here. This starts getting even worse when we start having nested tags. So imagine if not only this was in a div tag, but this was inside an h1 tag. So if we had something like this, how would we represent that to the screen? Well, we could just surround this with h1, right? Nope. We're going to go ahead and do it, just so you see what happens. At this point, it's just rendered to the screen. So how do we actually surround this with h1 tags? Well, guess what? You're actually going to need to create another, or you're going to have to put in another create element inside where you would be outputting this text. So inside here, you're going to do react.create element, and inside there, it's going to again take 3 different parameters. So the first one is going to be an h1 because that's what we're doing. That h1 is not going to contain anything, and then within that portion, we're going to add this last output that's going to be, basically the thing that's going to be displayed to the screen. So let's go ahead and walk through this again. We're creating an element, we're creating a div, and then the content that's going to be inside this div is going to be an h1 tag with no attributes that contains this text. So already starting to look kind of messy. Let's go ahead and save it. And there's our h1 tag. I mean, it does work, But look how much cleaner this looks. Why would anybody in their right mind want to use this when they can just use that? So as you can see, this starts looking like a complete mess, just like skinny jeans on men. What if we wanted to add a list of reasons, for example? In JSX, it would be pretty simple. So we would have something like that. We're going to go ahead and create an unordered list, and each list will have a list item. So there we go, there are 3 list items. So let's go ahead and list out why men shouldn't wear skinny jeans. So we can say because they look terrible. Second portion is because they give you Frodo looking feet. And third option, because they can cause tension in your relationship. Let's go ahead and say that. So this would pretty much be a nightmare to create without JSX. I mean, it's not too terrible. Can it be done? Sure. Actually, I went ahead and created it, so we don't have to waste our time doing this. And let's go ahead and paste that. So there you go. That's what it would look like if you did not want to use JSX. So you create your element, which is a div tag, then you create your unordered list, and then each unordered list will create this a list item that's going to, again, provide some text within the list item. So you can keep going down this rabbit hole, or we can just forget about this completely and use this. But before we delete this, let's see if it actually works. Sure enough, it works. So reasons why: because they look terrible, because they give you Frodo looking feet, and because they can cause tension in your relationship. So what are a few differences you should watch out for then? If we wanted to add a CSS class to, for example, our first div tag, we can't just say class, since that is a reserved keyword. We have to use class name. So we have to type in something like class name is equal to. So you will have to use camel case convention for your attribute names. So for example, if we wanted to call a function by clicking on one of the list items, we could use the onClick event handler and pass the function name to it. React requires for it to be camel case as well. So what are we going to put in for this class name before we proceed? Let's say bad decisions, and we're going to create this onClick event handler that's going to be calling a function, for example, burn pants. So every time you click it, it's going to call a function burn pants. Now, of course, I haven't created the function yet, even though I definitely will. And I haven't created this class either, so failed to compile because burn pants is not defined. But I just wanted to show you guys the camel case convention for creating these things. So final note, you will have to close all self-closing tags. If you want to add a break tag, for example, so let's say we want to do a break tag right here, we can't just do something like that. As you can see, it's already given me an error. So we can, since break does not have a closing tag, it actually, you have to put in this /. It's called a self-closing tag in HTML. Same concept goes for other tags, such as, for example, the image tag, etc., etc. And that's pretty much it that I wanted to cover about JSX. New tutorials coming out pretty much every single day.